This is America in Space, a weekly news and information program on current events dealing with the space industry.
Welcome, and thanks for joining me today. I'm Dawn Meyer, Space Coast News Editor. Considering all of the problems the International Space Station has experienced with space junk, I was a little surprised when the Russian cosmonauts tossed some old equipment overboard on the ISS during a spacewalk last week. Expedition 69 Commander Sergei Prokopyev and flight engineer Dmitry Petelin spent 6 hours outside the International Space Station on June 22nd, removing and tossing overboard a trio of no longer needed devices, including a spent science experiment. In addition to jettisoning the science hardware, the spacewalk also included installation of a new stanchion for high-speed telemetry equipment and the retrieval of a micrometeoroid impact experiment that had been mounted outside the space station for a number of years. Here are Mission Control and the translator guiding the cosmonauts through the jettisoning procedure to ensure that the hardware will not collide with the International Space Station.
Cosmonauts working to remove the seismoprognosis experiment from just behind the solar array, or one of the solar arrays on the Zvezda service module. Again, once detached, this experiment no longer providing data after almost 10 years of scientific investigations of seismic activity back on Earth. It will be jettisoned retrograde from the space station toward the aft end of the Zvezda service module on a trajectory that will ensure no potential for recontact with the orbital outpost.
So, for the jettisoning, Sergey. All right, you position yourself against the velocity vector, and so you should be aiming 45 degrees away from SM module.
As the two cosmonauts position themselves in the right orientation for the jettisoning of the seismoprognosis experiment, this
Dima can actually hold on to your back to make sure you're secure, just in case this is necessary. Okay, and I'm removing it, and I'm removing mine as well. Freeing it up. Copy. All right, it's free. Copy. And jettisoning.
And there it goes.
It was a good, trusty.
Our ballistics officer here in Mission Control reports it was jettisoned in a good trajectory, well away from the station. No chance for recontact with the complex. So the seismic experiment that has spent almost a decade on the International Space Station is now on its own to burn up in the Earth's atmosphere.
Wave goodbye to it. Rest in peace.
That jettison occurred at about the 2-hour, 9-minute mark into the spacewalk, the two cosmonauts running about an hour and 20 minutes ahead of the timeline. The jettisoned items that just took place were both the seismic detection experiment and a monoblock or stanchion upon which older data transmission system equipment was mounted on. Following the jettisoning of the seismic experiment, Prokopyev now has jettisoned the monoblock or stanchion upon which it and telemetry equipment were mounted on.
It's kind of slower than the one before.
So this is the second of 3 planned jettisons.
The discarded hardware is expected to eventually burn up in Earth's atmosphere. The 6-hour and 24-minute spacewalk brought the total spacewalk hours of Prokopyev to 48 hours and 40 minutes on 7 extravehicular activities, and Petelin has now conducted 5 spacewalks for a total of 33 hours and 9 minutes. That is a lot of time in space. Thank you for joining me. Remember each Tuesday to join David Denault for America's Return to Space And join me every Friday for America in Space. From the Florida Space Coast, I'm Dawn Meyer, Space Coast News Editor for About Space Today.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to share our program with your family and friends and follow us on Facebook. Join us each week for news and information on America in Space.